Now we're live. Okay, so what I was going to say is, normally, like, when we get up in the morning, like, my wife will be getting ready for work, or, like, sort of, like, waking up and, like, brushing her teeth or whatever. So I'll take care of getting my daughter fed in the morning. That's just, like, how the routine's settled.
Yeah.
But we had our fridge and freezer die. Was it 2 weeks ago, I think it was?
I think so, yeah.
So...
Oh, I forgot about that.
So they came out this week and repaired it. Replaced the compressor and recharged the Freon. Louis says, please, please. It might be something I like.
She does.
Oh, no.
Go ahead with your story.
So they said, you know, this is the second time this has happened in 3 years. We're worried that there's a Freon leak, but we can't tell from the back. You know, they did the air bubbles test, and they did UV light, because that Freon is reactive to that.
Yep.
And they didn't see anything. And like, well, just to be safe, just so it doesn't die or doesn't poison you, just don't use it for 48 hours. And we'll call in 2 days, and if it hasn't been leaking, and like, if you smelled Freon, you know what it smells like, so like, you're gonna immediately know if it leaks.
Yeah.
They're like, just don't use it for 2 days, and I'm like, oh my god, I need food in my house so badly. Like, I'm so sick of eating fast food. And, like, using DoorDash, like, at least once a day. And we close it up for 48 hours. What the dude didn't tell us, and I feel so stupid that I didn't look in there. That's fucking moldy as hell. Because he...
Oh, Jesus.
What he neglected to tell us when he came out the first time is he unplugged the unit when he left.
Yep.
So it was sitting closed, not cooled, and not even like air circulation.
In California, in the middle of a really hot summer.
Yeah, and it's like 95 degrees for like 3 days. So I open it up and I'm like, well, fuck, now I have to clean my whole fridge before I can put food into it.
And not just like a normal clean either. That's like a deep clean.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like scouring it. We sort of almost rubbed a hole in one of the drawers because we had to clean it so hard. We're like leaving it out in the sun just so some of the stuff goes away. It's just like I just want to go grocery shopping.
Let's see if she reacts to a bite.
I saw her ears perk up like, wait a minute. Oh, that's me. Well.
Drunk forever.
Yeah. My one cat, Scuttle, loves peaches. I thought that's so weird.
Did you see the cat who loves peaches is going around on Twitter?
Yeah, I retweeted it. It's very cute. I mean, almost any cat that gets put on social media, I will like and retweet, but a cat chilling with a bunch of peaches is pretty cute.
Yeah. Louise loves salt and vinegar crisps or chips.
That's so weird.
There's something about salt and vinegar that she just goes bonkers for. It's just like...
You ever gotten her a salt lick? I bet she'd love that.
Yeah, but wouldn't she die?
Probably. She'd get all pruny.
I know, you can't pick it up and that's... But oh no, she's just literally licked all of the flavor off it.
You can have it now. So aggressive, Louise. Jeez.
The best thing about her is that she's aggressive, but she never actually bites. It's literally just... She gums me. She's like...
Yeah, she's never going to hurt you.
Just lick it.
God, I love cats so much. Oh, man. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to talk about here during the pre-show.
Oh, I can... Really?
Oh, I started that Night Watch book.
Oh, yes.
I'm like halfway through the first chapter, so I read like the prologue and then the halfway through the first chapter. I
The
like
prologue
that
is the introduction to the balance, I believe.
Maybe, I don't know. It's like a kid running through a city, and then like vampires got him. Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that's something completely different.
Okay.
Maybe the prologue to the balance is the part of the second book, because each of the books is 3 books.
Oh, okay.
So each book has 3 stories from 3 different perspectives.
Ah, I got you.
And they all, but it's the same people in the same area, so they all intermingle with each other.
Cool. Yeah, I like that it has sort of a weird writing style. Like it's, I know people might think that might mean it's bad. It's certainly not bad. It's just, it's not dry. Like the author has a very distinct voice, and I like that.
Yeah.
Especially in fantasy books. Like, I don't want to read, like, and he turned the corner and there was a vampire. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah, the description he uses for some of this more supernatural stuff in those books is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
To the point where when the first book had, well, the first book in the first book, so the first story, the one you're reading now.
Right.
That actually has a movie made from it.
Oh, cool.
Called Night Watch, funnily enough.
There you go.
And it's made by directed by the same guy who directed the Wanted movie. So it's cool. Like super stylized and super like looks really, really amazing the way it's shot.
Yeah.
There's some changes that I don't like, obviously, because it's a book bit and made into a movie.
Right.
But my favorite thing they do is when they are talking about the vampire's call, it puts the subtitles in rivers of blood that flow down the screen, form into letters, and then flow off the other side of the screen. Like, it's cool. Really well done.
Wow.
I think I saw the movie, then read the book, and then read the second book, and then read the third book, and was like, it's a shame that's the end of it, and then they came out with a 4th book. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm fine with that.
I'm sort of a sucker for the genre is now called urban fantasy. I'm sort of a sucker for urban fantasy where it's always like vampires and demons and fairies and stuff in modern day. I don't know what it is about that stuff that I really enjoy.
This book is way up your alley.
Yeah.
There's so many characters like I can't wait for you to meet.
Yeah.
Like the leader of one side, well, the leader of both sides are both actually really cool characters. But yeah, I literally can't say anything because anything I say is gonna be not spoilery, but it'll start revealing stuff to you that I don't want you to know until you actually get to that point.
Yeah, like I'm going in really blind. Other than you saying, "Hey, this is one of my favorite books," I'm like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot if you love it that much. So,
yeah,
it was like we were talking about a pup yesterday. Mina started Steins Gate, and I think she said she's less than an hour in, and she's like, it's so confusing. One character thinks he's 2 people, and I was like, oh my god, like, I'm so excited for you to play this, and I can't say anything because I don't want to accidentally spoil even something that happens like 10 minutes later, because then you'd be like, oh well, yeah, I mean, boss just told me, like,
yeah,
it's not really like, you get rid of that element of discovery.
Yeah, it takes the impact out of moments as well, where it's just like, this should be a really great moment, but unfortunately now it's not.
I almost like totally spoiled a major plot point like as soon as she started talking about it. Because it's a time travel story, so like so much of it is interlinked. And she was talking about like this event at the beginning, and I was like, oh, it's where never mind. It's where that important thing to the crux of the story happens. Gotta go.
In like 40 hours. When you're actually
long.
Games like that terrify me. I struggle enough right now. Like,
yeah, I mean, the good part about it is, since you're just reading a book, you can just save wherever.
Yeah.
So it's like, alright, I have a half an hour, I'll read a little bit more, or like I'll just watch, read one scene, and then once it transfers over to another one, then I'll save and quit.
Yeah. Is that, you've got a Vita, don't you?
Yes.
Was Steins Gate on PlayStation 4?
It's on both.
Okay, I was going to ask whether or not you did the whole streamy thing to the Vita.
I did that for Steins Gate 0, because that didn't come out on Vita here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look. Or like I got it for super cheap on PS4. Yeah, it came out. Oh no, it did come out for Vita here. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was on super sale, like almost as soon as it came out digitally on PS4. And it's like, all right, well, I'll just pick it up there. There's no reason for me to screw around with it.
Yeah, hey, if it's easier access to something you love, then go for it.
Boy, when does Steins Gate Elite come out? Oh, next year. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna buy that.
Louise.
So like here's my struggle with Steins Gate Elite. It's basically a remake of Steins Gate. But all of the stuff, like the backgrounds and cutscenes and everything, are straight from the anime, and then they added additional stuff that wasn't in the show.
Interesting.
So it's literally the same script. It just has different pictures behind it.
Yeah, but we are also people who read comic books, which, let's face it, when you're talking like comic book stories, they are all essentially the same.
Yeah.
With a couple of big exceptions. It's just about the pictures.
The thing that I'm struggling with is like, it looks like it's going to be 60 when it comes out, which is fine. I won't play it again because it's the same exact story. But I really want to support the developer and especially the publisher that's bringing this stuff over.
Yeah. You want to speak with your wallet.
Yeah, but it's $60 for a game I've already played that now kind of, to me, looks worse. I'm kind of struggling. Because like, I want more visual novels to come out in the US. But
yeah,
$60 is a lot of money.
Especially for a game you've already played.
Yeah, like if it was different or it had like side stories to it or had like a new ending, then yeah, that would be I'd be a lot more interested in it, but it's as far as I've seen, it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's a difficult decision to make.
Yeah.
I recently, completely no segue at all, but I decided I only saw 3 seasons of The Arrow. I only saw 1 season of The Flash. Let's see where I stand in this whole DC multiverse TV show thing they've got going on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's really weird having to watch a TV show with a watch list in front of you to make sure that you're getting both sides of the story.
And it's not even like the Marvel stuff where it's like, watch this season of this in entirety. Go watch this movie.
Yep. It's literally, they bounce episode to episode.
That's crazy.
Backwards and forwards. And then halfway through the seasons I'm on for both of them right now is when they introduce Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh,
so
no.
It's 3 TV shows all running concurrently at the same time.
So you're basically like recreating, like you're watching the week of shows across all the shows and then like moving to the next week. That's kind of cool though.
It is. It's very Buffy and Angel of them.
Yeah.
I say that as a reference I don't understand because I never watched either of those 2 shows. But it's from what that's what they did as well. Was like
through osmosis, we both know what we're talking about.
Yeah. It also probably helps that most people I know are huge fans of at least Buffy. Yeah,
I never, for some reason, both of those shows just completely flew under my radar. Like, I was on the internet at that point, so obviously everyone was talking about it, but I just, for some reason, I might have been too cool for school, for TV at that time.
Yeah, you're like, you people with your TV.
Right.
I'm a cable cutter, except for my internet wire.
I'm watching Naruto from Japan.
Yes.
I was pretty up my own ass for a while.
I was probably watching that too, to be honest. Or Bleach at the time.
Oh, Bleach. Yeah, like that 1-2 punch of like Naruto and Bleach, and I'm like, shit, anime's still really good. All right.
Fucking Bleach is so fucking good, dude.
Yeah,
like,
Bleach is really
good. Like, you hear everyone talks about Dragon Ball, everyone talks about Naruto, and not enough people, I think, talk about Bleach, because Bleach is fucking incredible.
Bleach is really good. I think I like Bleach more than I like Naruto.
I definitely do, 100%. Also, what's this?
Hi, Louise.
Like, no, the desk is not for you. That cubby hole is not for you either.
Nope, going in. See ya.
No, stay off my keyboard. If you accidentally stop recording something, it's going to be a problem. You just want the couch with the. You just want the chair with the cushion, don't you?
Yeah. She needs her throne.
She literally only cares about the chair that's got the cushion on it.
Did you ever watch Full Metal Alchemist?
I think I saw like 2 or 3 episodes of it.
Oh, okay.
And that's about it.
There's a meme going around about a horrific event that happens in like the latter half of the show.
The cosplay.
Yeah, even I saw that this morning, but even before that, there was some people reminiscing. Isn't really the right word. Maybe like shared grief is probably better. And I was thinking, like, man, I feel like that's one of those shows that if you can stomach anime, because I know some people are like, ugh, anime, I don't even want to deal with it. It's like, that's fine. I'm not even going to fight that fight anymore.
My wife.
Yeah, like, to me, like, I can understand that preference, where it's like, if you don't like Japanese stuff, if you don't like anime, like, I'm not even gonna try anymore. Like, go watch Cowboy Bebop. If you don't like that, then just, you're not gonna like any anime.
Yeah, I can understand. Cowboy Bebop was ridiculously good.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, boy, I sort of would love to watch Full Metal Alchemist with my wife, because I saw the original run, but I never saw Brotherhood, you know, the quote-unquote better series that they did. And then I remembered that scene, and I was like, I don't know, man, maybe not. And she's asked in the past to watch Evangelion together, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to punish you with Eva. I love Eva. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's so dark.
Yeah, it's like people who don't watch it or have never seen it, like, who ask about anime. Like, it's always one of those things where people, like, I've done it in the past. You've probably done it in the past, where people like, I've never seen anime. What should I watch? And you're like, oh, Akira, Ghost in the Shell,
yeah,
Eva, and probably in my younger days, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
I think out of all of those, the one of them that is acceptable for a new person is Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
because Akira is probably one of the best animated movies of all time. It tells an interesting story. That's not a movie for a new starter to come to anime.
No,
too.
and like the ending is so good but so vague. I've seen so many people watch it and they're like, why did he get big and then he's tiny and now it's just the credits? Like, what happened? That's why for a long time I was recommending Ninja Scroll for people to get started, because it has a ton of violence. It has like enough sex for people that get bored with anime to be interested. It had a cool story and it had like a really satisfying conclusion.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of started looking old because it came out in the early 90s.
That's one of the reasons I suggest Haruto no Ken, Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
That is an incredible show.
Yeah.
And it has a very simple but logical story flow. Whereas Ghost in the Shell can be hard to follow. So can Akira. Like,
how about we talk about the metaphysicality of robots when no one's moving their lips?
Yep, exactly.
That's I get the impression the recommendation instead of Fist of the North Star modern day is One Punch Man. Because
that's right, yeah.
Apparently everyone loves that. It has a simple premise, like, if this dude punches you, you die. Just in one punch.
Yeah. Either that or I'm hearing a lot of good things about My Hero Academia.
Yeah, me too, and I think it's on Netflix, and I think I just added that to my queue, because I'm like, alright, I need to start watching...
Yeah.
Or, no, that was Little Witches Academy, which I've heard is also pretty good.
Justin introduced me to the concept behind My Hero Academia. It's like, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's like a superhero school, right? Like high school?
Like, basically, people are born with superpowers, but not everybody.
Okay.
You have the superpower. That is the superpower you have. Except, from what I understand, and this could be totally wrong, the main character didn't have a superpower, but then his hero was like the main, like, he was the Goku of the universe, but he's dying because his powers are taking a toll on him. So he passes that power on to this kid who didn't have a power. But the problem is if he uses the power, it physically destroys him.
Jeez, that's cool.
So it's a very interesting take on the. It's very much the Lee from Naruto dichotomy, where it's like this guy can be really powerful, but what does it extol on him as a person?
God, I still remember that fucking scene where he takes off those weights on his legs and his arms. God damn. Like, that's still... watching that... I think I was in college, and, like, watching that episode alone, and no one else was watching the show, and I'm just like, those are weights, like, those aren't decorative. Like, he's so fucking strong. Oh my god.
Yep.
And everyone's like, cool, dude. Like, what are you watching cartoons for? And it's like, God, you guys suck.
It's the old trick as well, because you never saw it coming, despite the fact that you're like at the time I was a Dragon Ball Z fan, and I'd seen that trick done time and time and time again.
It always gets me.
Goku, Piccolo, everyone in that show is just like, oh yeah, I wear weights because it makes me better.
I'm gonna take my hat off and whoa, it's super heavy, and it gets me every time. Where it's like, oh, he's actually really strong.
Yep. Man, Naruto was really good for the longest time, and then it dropped off a cliff.
As soon as they did the time skip, I was sort of like, maybe this is a good time for me to stop. Not that it was bad, I was just sort of like, this is my chance for a clean break. I can be free.
My favorite thing was I literally got up to the point where Leaf Village was attacked, and it was the big main villain who, out the course of he was the Voldemort of the show.
Yeah.
I got to that point, I was like, this is really cool. I'm never going to continue watching it after this point. Right. And instead, I started watching Bleach, which turned into one of my favorite shows of all time.
Bleach Bleach's first episode is so good.
It's really, really good, and it's funny because now we're talking about Bleach. I kind of want to send my friend in England who introduced me to Bleach, Steve and Liddy. Those two love it. But that very first episode, that song when he first becomes the Death God, is an incredible song, and I love it.
Yeah.
And Liddy hates it, so I'm kind of tempted to just send her a link to it. Just because it's fun. It's rickrolling for her. Like, she absolutely despises it, and it gets stuck in her head so quick.
That's so good.
So I should probably send her a link to that.
Yeah, that's part of my frustration now, is I feel like, without like miring myself completely in the fandom, it's sort of hard to find out, like, there's one, like, what's the best show out right now that, like, the most people, like My Hero Academia, like, what's the one show that's out right now that I really should watch? And then maybe like a dark horse. Like, I'm still watching Agretsuko, that Senryo show about that death metal singing red panda.
Yeah, I don't know.
That show is really good, but I know that's like sort of a deeper cut. But
I mean, I cannot recommend. It's the one everybody, Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I
can't
feel
recommend
like
that.
I'd get super into that.
I can't recommend it enough because that show is really incredible.
Yeah,
like that. I haven't read the anime. I read the manga, obviously, but that anime has some swerves which I have not seen since the likes of like Dragon Ball, where it's like, wait, what? You just turned Super Saiyan? What is this?
Some real gasp-inducing. It's like, yes. What happened? Yeah, I feel like at some point I'm going to have to sign up for VRV. Because it encompasses like Funimation and Crunchyroll and like a bunch of other services all under its umbrella. It
does, but you need a lot of the shows on that. You need subscriptions to the other services to watch them on that program, on that platform.
Hey there, Money Man. How's it going?
Howdy. I can't. Crunchyroll's really good, and Dragon Ball Super. I hate how good that show is. Yeah. I hate the fact that they brought it back and made it incredible.
It finished, right?
I think it just recently finished, yeah. I'm still in the process of watching it. I'm only like a third of the way through it. Okay. But it's one of those things where they managed to bring it back so well because they totally lean into all of the fan stuff that happened since Dragon Ball Z.
Right, like all the stupid craziness.
Yeah, where literally the fans are saying, Goku is an idiot. Like, I watched, I'm listening to All Systems Goku, the Giant Bomb podcast, where Jeff and Dan are watching it. By the way, it's hilarious. Jeff Gerstmann, who spent the past 30 years smack talking anime,
Animes for jerks.
being like,
Mondo, cool.
holy crap, anime is so good.
Yeah.
Like, he totally gets into it. Literally within 4 episodes of like All Systems Goku, they're like, Goku loves to fight, is an idiot.
Yeah. He loves to fight and he loves to eat, and he's just the dumbest.
And literally the first episode of Super is Goku loves to fight, is an idiot. Like,
Right.
they lean right into it, and they're just
Right.
like, he just wants to train, he just wants to fight.
It's so crazy to me that Dragon Ball Z is still such a good gateway show to get people in anime. Like,
I
even
don't
now,
know how
like
that's held up.
25 years later,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Like, it's... It might be my favorite anime of all time. Because it's so dumb, but it's so cool too. And I actually think they've done it a great service by releasing Kai.
Yeah. Like, it's definitely not the... I don't think it's the best way of experiencing it, but it cuts out so much of the bullshit.
It's not for you and it's not for me because we went through that week-to-week wait.
The
every single
tsunami
week.
wait. Yeah.
We went through that, so we don't view it as the optimal.
Right.
I think if you're a new person, it's perfect for them.
It
yes,
cuts out, there's a reason why there's that joke about, like, somebody powers up for 2 episodes, and it's like, yeah, during the Frieza saga, like, he does power up for, like, an entire episode, so you'd wasted, like, 20 minutes of your life for
I'm pretty sure the
nothing.
Spirit Bomb episode is 2 episodes of him building the
I
Spirit
bet
Bomb.
it is, yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
And it's not as cool of a payoff as they thought it was going to be, I think.
No. And then you've got the Snake Way, which is about 30 episodes of Goku traveling down Snake Way.
It's so long.
Like, literally, in Kai, it seems like that's 2 episodes, dude.
Wow.
Like-
Yeah, that's probably better. You're gonna lose a lot of the humor, but like I think it's a fair trade.
Yes, definitely.
Oh man.
Oh,
All right, we just spent a half an hour talking about anime, so I think we've hit our quota for this quarter. You ready to get started?
yeah. Yep.
Let me get rid of pre-show here. All right. Let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Vampyr.
Hello. That was weird.
Below. Below's not out yet. I'm sorry. It's
2018. Cross my fingers.
as I said in the episode that we'll release on Wednesday, sometime between this year and when the sun dies.
Yep.
I'm still very excited to play Below.
Me too.
All right. I don't think we have anything at the beginning. Let's just get right to it. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
This week's a weird week. Really weird week because I couldn't actually decide what I wanted to play, so I just bounced from game to game to game
Had
to
a
game.
real tapas
game.
week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little sample platter from everything.
Yeah.
So let's start with the games I didn't realize I needed to beat still in Minecraft Story Mode.
Oh.
I gave my final opinion on that game like 6 months ago. Not realizing I had an entire another chapter left to do still.
Yeah, because it's like 6 or 7 chapters instead of 5, right?
It was 4, then they released a free one which was 5, and then there's an additional 4 which are DLC.
And then there's like season 2 now, right?
I think they might be working on a season 2. I don't know.
Keep putting that money.
Let's talk about how episode 5 is though. It is bad. It is about an hour. It's basically just a quick wrap up of what happened at the after the end of the main story. I really don't want to say anything, even though it's really easy to. It's hard to spoil a Minecraft game. Guess what? They build stuff.
Right.
But I mean, I think I mentioned it at the time. Minecraft Story Mode is a really good Telltale game for kids, and it probably helps that it is literally impossible to die in that game or fail.
Oh, right.
Like
Would make sense.
It's literally impossible, and that's fine because that means I can match 3 colored tiles together and do damage to the Marvel characters while I'm listening to Minecraft Story Mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Works out pretty nicely.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I've still got 3 episodes of DLC to go now, so that's fun, I guess. I don't know how I feel about them, considering they are all based around Minecraft personalities, like Twitch streamers and stuff like that.
That's just so
Weird.
the opposite of the market that we are.
Yes. Hi, Twitch. How are you doing?
Yeah. Hello, Twitch. Thank you for following.
So it's interesting, but we'll see how things go for that. I played a bunch more Riddled Corpses EX. For those who don't know, hashtag full disclosure, I did get this from the IGC party a short while back. This game is still incredible.
Yeah.
And this is the top-down, zombie-killing, roguelike kind of game.
Yeah, isometric-y sort of thing.
Yes. I've got to the point now where I unlocked one of the super bonus things, which literally gives you 2 balls that orbit around you and fire additional bullets when you fire.
Great.
So the game just keeps getting better and better, and I keep making it further, dying less, and getting more gold to upgrade characters with when I finish. How very roguelike of it.
Yeah. I have that on my wish list, and I keep looking at it every once in a while and be like, alright, I need to buy this, I need to play it, because I know it's right in my wheelhouse, but I haven't pulled the trigger quite yet.
I'll be honest, it's a really good turn your brain off game.
Nice.
Like, it's really good for literally just really slow moving people coming at you, and you just shoot them all and clear the screen and collect the gold, and then eventually you die.
Yeah.
Like,
that sounds pretty alright right now.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's got the really good like chiptune-ish soundtrack, which in 2018 I thought would be rote at this point, like very
indie game with chiptune soundtrack. Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But it's actually it's a pretty good soundtrack. So it's one of those ones where for me this has been my, especially over the past couple of days. We discussed this like pre-show. When my hands are literally hurting so much that I don't really want to play something right now.
Right.
It's been a very simple thing where I don't need to worry about triggers or anything. It's just a thumb and a thumb, so I can do whatever I need to do with it.
Right.
I did Riddled Corpses EX done, Minecraft Story Mode done. I started Celeste.
Oh yeah. Can
Obviously,
cross that off my list.
Much more to come on this, considering this is the TVGP Game Club game for this month. That game is interesting. When I have a friend from England who see like my True Achievements thing auto-generates the I start a game or I beat a game thing on Twitter, my friend from England, her response is,
oh no.
Like, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. That's not a mirthful laugh.
No, it's really not. It's more a case of, what does that mean?
What have you done to yourself?
And her response was, you will see soon enough. So, Celeste is... It reminds me of Super Meat Boy.
Yep.
A lot. It reminds me of Super Meat Boy. Because it's just got that really, really tight controls. Like, that really good, solid feeling for a platformer. The downside is I have been playing it at 10:30 at night, right before I go to bed, and I'm physically and mentally exhausted. Yeah. Which is not the best time to be smashing my face against a bunch of spikes.
That happened to me yesterday, where I was like, I got a little more overheated than I thought, and I sat down and I was like, alright, something's downloading on my PS4, I will just play Celeste for a little bit, and probably the 5th time I teleported straight up into a set of spikes. I was like, maybe this isn't the right time for me to play this.
Yes, I have made it in that game to Chapter 3, I believe. I'm in the hotel right now.
That's a cool level.
Did you unlock the 8-bit thing?
The Pico 8 version?
Yes.
Yeah, I did, which is so fun because Celeste is famous in the Pico 8 community as like the first Pico 8 game that everybody loved, that sort of made it, like, graduated into a full big release.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have that hidden in there, and there's even an achievement for, like, finishing the Pico 8 version is, I think that's really fun.
Yeah. I have to say that your platforming abilities are weak sauce. If you beat 2 levels and only got 18 strawberries, you are bad, dude.
Most of those times I look at the strawberries, I'm like, nah, I'm good. like I know in those early couple levels, you can look at the screen and be like, oh, just go here, grab the gem, shoot up this way, and then like fall, and then shoot over this way. But I'm okay.
Yeah. I'm a collector. What do you think this game is doing to me?
I'm trying to beat that innate emotion in myself about collecting, because I know if I get all the strawberries in like the first 2 level, then by the time I get to like stage 6 and they're really hard, I'll be like,
you'll need to.
Yeah, like I have to, because I've gotten 100% of them so far, and then I won't finish the game.
Yeah, the one positive for me is this is a Game Club game, so I do have a time limit for this. This is not I can come back to this in 2 years, Lego Marvel Avengers, and beat you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is, I have a time frame to beat this game in, so I have to not do that, otherwise I would not beat the game.
Yeah. I'm at the end of stage 5 right now, and because I was tired, it's basically... Have you gotten to the point in the 3rd stage where you're sort of working towards getting that key in the middle?
Cleaning up, yes.
Yeah, so you're like going...
half cleaned up.
Yeah, you're going like different paths and then sort of looping back. It's trying to do that, and I have to open 2 locked doors so I can sort of send myself across to the end of the level. And I was tired enough that I got one of the keys and opened one of the locks, and then I couldn't map the level out in my brain to figure out where the other one was, so I sort of rage quit it. I'll come back to this when I'm not exhausted.
Yeah, but I mean, Celeste is really, really good.
It feels right. Like
it does.
I don't know how to explain it other than, like Super Meat Boy, it feels right when you're controlling it.
Yeah, it has that feel, which is really, really good. Downside is I think I might be getting adrift, so that makes it a little bit more frustrating.
Yeah.
But other than that, like the game, I love the art style, I love the controls, I love how imaginative they are with some of their challenges.
Yeah.
Like there was one strawberry I got which took me probably about 50 runs of the room to figure out how to even get it, let alone actually collect it. But no, Celeste is really, really good.
Yeah.
Like I'm super surprised by how much I'm enjoying it. I played a touch of Vermintide 2. Just a little touch, just a little rub with the rats.
Yeah.
I defeated Act 1. Myself, Justin, and Rob all sat down. We blew through Chapter 4 of Act 1. It's really interesting. I don't feel like the story is as... One of the really things I loved about Vermintide 1 was how they... Like in Left 4 Dead, they took a multi-level approach and told a story through the different levels that you go through.
Right.
Like in Left 4 Dead, it's like, when you do that first map, that first level, you're trying to get to the hospital. So you go through the countryside, you get to the hospital. When the hospital thing falls through, that's you moving away from the hospital to get somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then when that falls through, that's you going somewhere else to try and find the next step. And they do the same thing in Left 4 Dead 2. Get across the swamp. Oh, this option fell through, or the truck, like the mall. At the end of the mall level in Left 4 Dead 2, you get in the car runs out of gas when you get to the highway, and it happens to be blocked.
Right.
That's a really good story transition throughout the levels. I felt like Vermintide 1 did that really, really well. I honestly don't know what's going on in the story in Vermintide 2.
Oh, bummer.
Humans are now working with the rats, but it's the humans who live on the outside, like the barbarians. And there's a big barbarian who the big rat is afraid of, and they're trying to do something, but I don't know.
It's like there's almost too much story.
It's not even that there's too much. It's like that was the start of one of the levels, was that explanation, but I don't know why I'm going to these different points to do different things.
Right.
So it feels like it's lost a little bit of that, but at the same time, it's also an incredibly fun game to play. It's incredibly fun to have everybody and level everybody up and different skills and things like that. And the fact that it's a loot-based game as well just helps, because all of a sudden we, like myself, Justin, and Rob, we walked out of a level with 3 tomes, which is the maximum number of tomes you can walk out of a level with.
Nice.
Which meant we got a really high tier of blue chest.
Ooh.
It's like, great. Fantastic. We got our just rewards for doing really well and sacrificing health to collect these tomes because that's what you have to do.
Right.
It's ridiculous, but I mean, Vermintide 2 is really, really fun. Like, we've had so much fun actually. Just jump in, like, play a level. It's 20 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on how you do.
Nice.
You see some beautiful landscapes, you fight some huge giant rats and some dudes, and then you're out the door and you can play the next level or move on to a different game. It's a really good short-term jump in, jump out, you know, be done kind of thing.
And it's nice to see someone copying Left 4 Dead.
Yes.
And doing it right.
Yeah, exactly. The only downside to it is obviously no PvP, but at this point I'm okay with that. If they're going to base it on loot, the fact that it's a loot game and has no PvP, I've got a single problem.
Yeah.
Because the balancing that they'd have to do for that would be ridiculous, or it would be a case of, well, nobody gets loot in the multiplayer.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, I'm absolutely fine with that. I started, and I do use the phrase started, Yoku's Island Express.
Oh, I want to play this game so bad.
Because it was on sale for $15 on the Xbox summer sale.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I've heard people talking about this in such a positive light that I felt like I needed to play it this year for very specific reasons.
Yeah, what sold me is someone said, it's a really great game and it's a pinball platformer. And I was like, okay, sold.
That's exactly what it is. It is a pinball platformer with a party horn, which is so good.
Yeah.
Like, I feel really bad about this. I think Chuck may have mentioned this on a recent episode of No Quarters, but you get like a party horn, which you use to wake people up, to smash obstacles, that kind of stuff. There is an achievement for doing that 100 times. I got it within 5 minutes of getting the party horn. Exactly. It was like Vuvuzelas at the World Cup all over again.
Remix!
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. Like, it's simple, it's cute, the game looks gorgeous. Like, just the art style on the thing is incredible. Like, the platforming is really, really simple because at the end of the day is you're just using flippers when you need to do jumps. So I'm fine with that too. And then it gives you like little objective based challenges like to get through an area. So you want to go up there, you shoot the ball through this tiny little hole, and then you're up there. Or there's 2 ramps here which you can loop around to get rewarded for looping around it.
Oh, okay.
So it becomes this really give and take thing of you can do the loops and get the rewards and then go up there, or you can just go up there and then see what you need to progress.
Nice.
And it doesn't feel like it's locked me out of anything so far. It's a really, really fun, like, again, it's a really good chilled out game where you just load her up, you roll the big ball onto a flipper, you hit a trigger, and then you're away playing pinball for a little bit.
That's cool.
Until you get to the next area. It feels like a lot of the hybrid pinball games that people have been trying to do. Sonic Spinball, like all these things which were good ideas, just not well executed. This feels like the right kind of step for this kind of game. It's really just calming to be able to sit down and then know that when the ball falls between the flippers, you literally just roll it to the left and then it goes back up again.
Nice. So it's not like, all right, well, I guess game's over. You suck.
Yep. No punishment, no dying. It's just it's a very zen game, which in 2018 we could do with a few more zen games, I feel like. Yeah.
I'm going to talk about one of my favorite ones in my section, but yeah, I'm really digging a lot of chill games right now.
Yes. 2 more games. Oh
no.
Let's talk about the surprise game this week.
Okay.
Vampyr's surprise game of the week.
Do-do.
I never played it before, so I'm really glad I did. But on a whim, I randomly picked up the Marvel Ultimate Alliance bundle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think it got delisted this week.
Yep, it did.
Yeah.
Without any warning or any heads up or anything, it just happened to get delisted like either this week or last week. And I thought, well, there goes my chance to buy it. Gosh darn it, what have I done? And then literally speaking with my wife, and my wife responded with, babe, you bought that like 2 months ago. So literally on a whim, I bought it just for fun. Forgot that I bought it,
It's
and
so
then
good.
got sad when it got delisted. Because why not? You know, like why not just be an idiot to myself?
Yeah.
So I started playing that with Jess. It has the online co-op, which I'm really proud of because
Nice.
it means we can actually, even though we're literally tied to the same screen, we're sitting within 3 feet of each other.
Right.
But still,
But
it's
you have
good
the
to be able
full screen.
Exactly, we have our own TV directly in front of us. There is no turning of TVs or re-angling the living room.
Yeah.
It's just right there. We played a little bit. We haven't done too much so far. We literally started it today, and I don't even know why. It was just like, I see Marvel Ultimate Alliance on your page. Do you want to play that? Let's just play that, shall we? So we jumped in. We started playing it. My wife is a giant comic book nerd.
Okay.
X-Men are specifically her specialty.
Hmm.
And let me tell you how weird it is sitting there trying to listen to these people talk while my wife is talking about the X-Men history and making fun of some of the characters. Like, her impression of Iceman is ridiculously hilarious, talking about how he has the potential to be so good, but I could be one of the strongest mutants around, but I don't have no self-confidence, so I can't. So I cover my deficits with humor because
Right.
like, okay, he just made a quippy remark. You don't have to go that far.
She's doing riff tracks over there.
Oh, she is. So far, we've had a bit of fun with it, and then she discovered Colossus in the game.
Hmm.
And Colossus, I believe, is her favorite, like, X-Men / Marvel superhero of all time is Colossus.
Okay.
And then she figured out that Colossus can pick up regular-sized enemies and then use them as weapons.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And at the time, I was also playing as Wolverine. And what does Colossus do? Use grab one round Wolverine.
Right. The old
He
classic.
does the fastball special.
Yeah.
So it literally comes into the two of us running into a door, me hitting X to try and open it, and her hitting X to try and open it, and then her just picking me up and throwing me into a door.
Great.
So it's very, very 360. I will say that right now. Like,
yeah.
it's a bundle. It's on the current generation of platforms. They have done nothing to these games at all. Like, the voice acting is terrible. You can see the JPEG pixelation in the the character artwork. It's ridiculous. But you know what? It's one of those games. It's dumb. It's a button mashy Diablo style game that just happens to have Marvel characters in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's old. Yeah, it has problems, but at this point, who cares? It's just something fun where we can switch off our brains and play it.
Yeah, hack and slash for an hour.
Yes, exactly.
It's like the equivalent of you're like sitting around on a Saturday and TBS is showing, a Nicolas Cage movie again. It's like, okay, sure, I'll watch that.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance is the Nicolas Cage of games. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's dumb. The voice acting is bad, but it's bad to the point of hilarity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad to the point of awkward or painful. It's just so ridiculous.
Featuring Steve Bloom as Wolverine, of course.
Yep. Who so far is the best character in that game, voice acting wise.
Yep. He's so good.
Everybody else is really bad.
Yeah, everyone else is just like a little too hammy.
Yes. Let's talk about Black Widow and how it feels like a copy of a photocopy of a Black Widow voice.
Yes.
Like, it's really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
But it's for, I mean, what, Moo was one that was like real early in the 360 generation, wasn't it?
Yeah, God, it's probably at least 10 years old by now.
So I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
It's old and it's fun, and that's all that matters right now.
Yep.
Because we can just jump in, play a level or two, jump out, we'll get to it when we get to it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I bought it before it got delisted.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
I literally saved money by buying it.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. My final game this week. It's the return of 2018's Alpha Protocol. It's Vampyr.
Yes.
Which has had probably about 15, 20 patches since I last played it.
Patching the hell out of it.
They also introduced 2 new difficulties. They've done a whole bunch of work to it. This game is really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, really, really good. Like, if you are looking for... I know God of War is out there. I know that PlayStation has a whole bunch of single-player games. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, I played some more God of War. I progressed the story a bit more. I really don't want to talk about it because...
Spoilers.
I am literally at that point where anything I could say is a spoiler.
Right.
Let's just say there was... Sorry for this reference. Let's just say there was a John Cena finisher in there somewhere, which was, for those who don't know, it's the AA, the attitude adjustment. There was that in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm at that moment. If you've played the game, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But other than that, I cannot say a thing because, yes. But in a world of single-player games dying,
Right.
and games as a service becoming the new norm, support Vampyr, please.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of work to it. The combat feels so much better now than it did when
like
I started playing it.
They introduced 2 new difficulties. One of them is story, which apparently is just, God mode for you.
Yep. And like, I don't understand like where this game came from. I don't understand how they found the time to do it or where they who did it. I know Don't is involved in it in some point. I don't know what involvement they had.
I think they were the primary developers.
Because this is really good. The game looks amazing. The story is now officially super compelling now because there is a whole bunch of stuff. When I previously stopped playing it, I got up to finished the tutorial, got to the first open area, talked to a bunch of people, and then stopped. Now I have continued talking to those people, discovered a lot more about the mechanics of the game and stuff like that. It has a day-night cycle, kind of, where basically every time you go to sleep, time moves forwards.
Oh, okay.
So it's very much a case of, I can't think of any good examples right now.
Style.
A little bit, yes, where certain actions can happen. It's like, I'm trying to think, like, it's like a Civ game when you hit end turn, everybody else takes their actions.
Oh, like the world continues?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So the thing with this game is you can only level up your abilities by going to sleep. When you go to sleep, the world continues its motions as things go. So areas that were bad and struggling get more negative.
Oh,
people
cool.
People who were sick and you didn't heal get sicker. People who you healed start to recover. Like the time of the night flowing actually has an impact, which is, again, it's something my wife pointed out to me was probably the reason she struggled so much. Was as soon as she had enough experience to level up, she was going to sleep so she could level up, and not realizing that the world was progressing every time she slept to level up.
Right.
And a lot of areas at the start of this game are on the downturn. And if you sleep 5-6 times in a row, those areas can become harder and harder and more dangerous.
Ah. So she wasn't like balancing it enough.
Yeah, which the game doesn't tell you to is the problem. The game doesn't say when you go to sleep, by the way, events are going to unfurl as you rest during the day.
Right.
So I've done a whole bunch of investigating and talking to people in their first area. I still love the whole thing that the game does where if you want to ask people about personal questions, you have to find out information about them from other areas, be that conversations or notes that you pick up where it's like, oh, this is a letter to my sister, I read it, or this is a letter to someone's sister, you read it, and now you can talk to that person about their sister.
Ah, okay.
So it does this really cool unlock structure of you talk to the gossip tells you something about somebody, then you go to that person, you ask them about what the gossip said, and then they tell you it's nonsense, but maybe you might want to go and talk to this other person. And it becomes this really cool just development of this whole hospital that you're based in.
Right.
Now I'm in the second area, and it seems like stuff has gone down in this area, so I'm trying to learn more about that.
Right.
And it's really, really good. Like, man. Go buy Vampyr, play Vampyr. It's a single-player game in a world of games with a service, and it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's flawed. It's not perfect. It's gonna have issues. But the game is really good, and I need to figure out who does the voice acting for the main guy in it, because when he has to deliver the whole vampire skill where you talk to somebody and you basically use the vampire powers to persuade them to talk about something, he has a really incredible delivery on those lines.
Ooh. Dr. Jonathan Reed?
That's the one.
I was actually just looking up who the primary developer on this was, and it is Don't Nod, and they're working on Life is Strange 2, which comes out, the first episode comes out in less than a month, and Twin Mirror, which comes out next year.
Yep, and
so,
this...
So crazy. The actor that does it is Anthony Howell.
Wow, whoever that is, he is incredible.
Yeah.
And if you like English accents, which I hope you do listen to this podcast, folks.
Chances are good.
Then this is a game for you because it's so good. It's got the English, it's got the Irish, it's got the stereotypical people from where you'd imagine them to. The former drunk who's an Irish guy who's now a priest, and it's like, okay.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. But please go play Vampyr, folks.
Yeah.
Support these kind of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing. So what about you, Boston?
Boy, I played a lot of No Man's Sky this week.
Yeah.
It's very much in that vein that we're talking about the very chill game. You know, like once you get over that initial hump, and you know, once you learn how to make warp cells, you basically have the foundation down. So at that point, it's just learning how to make other stuff and discovering new blueprints and upgrading your ship and your multi-tool. Like I managed to buy an S-rank multi-tool, which is leagues better than the one I was using before. It's huge. It did like the 3 categories. It does like 25% more damage for everything. Like it was great. It only cost me like 1.1 million, space credits, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I'm deeper into the Atlas storyline than I've ever been before. Early on in the game asks you, like, do you want to travel the path of the Atlas or do you want to free explore? That's not a permanent choice. Like, if you want to go on the path of the Atlas, you can just pick it in your mission list. So far it's been interesting, but I'm not entirely quite sure what I'm doing. I travel a couple of systems, and then a giant, basically logo from the game shows up. I go in and I talk to some sort of space blob, and I hesitantly do what it's asking of me, and then I sort of rinse and repeat while I explore. So I'm not
Weird.
Sure what I'm doing, but I'm getting a lot of cool tech and a lot of new words from it, so either way I win. I did finally get a chance to play a multiplayer game with my wife, though. That was incredibly easy. Like,
the process of jumping in and out, yeah.
Yeah, like, I really like that on the main menu, it's just like start a game or join a game. I hit join game, I picked her name, I loaded my save file, and I was in her system. And I was like, well, that was crazy. Like, I was expecting to go through all these steps and do all this stuff, and no, it just, when I loaded up, I was in space, and she was off on a planet below, just kind of doing her own thing. I do have to say, she played a bunch on launch, and unlike me, she decided not to start a new save game. The experience of loading your save from, what was it, a year ago, 2 years ago at this point, really bad. There's a complete lack of tutorialization on any of the new stuff. So,
of course. That sounds, like, I'll be honest, that sounds about right for this game too.
Yeah, and it's really disappointing because the tutorial when you start the game is really good. Like, it teaches you how to build a blueprint analyzer, and it teaches you how to build, most importantly, a portable refinery. So when she got shot down by pirates, her warp drive got damaged, and it said, oh, well, you need 100 chromatic metal to fix it. And she's like, okay, well, how do I do that? And thankfully I was there, so I could say, okay, here's the menu to build the portable refinery. Here's the materials you need, because it hadn't taught her any of that stuff. And that's sort of disappointing, because my recommendation is still just start a new game, and it will it will teach you how to do everything. But she's already like 60 milestones in. She has like a 35-hour save file, so just sort of chucking that out the window isn't gonna encourage her to stick with it. You know, she already has a save.
Yeah.
But getting her to the point where she needs to get to like repair and build all the stuff she needs to is just, that sort of stinks. I know there's a menu in the game where it's like, here's all the new stuff and here's how to do refining and mining and all that stuff, but
do you want to read all that stuff, or do you want to be showing it all?
yeah, exactly. Like, it should show her through, at the very least, through like the right hand, the messages in the lower right hand corner. It should say, we see you don't have a portable refinery, you know, you've never built one, or you don't have one in your inventory. Let's walk you through building one of those.
Yep.
Let's walk you through setting up a base. You know, all the stuff that a new game does really well, that an existing game seems to assume that you've just played all the patches as they've come out.
It feels a little bit like them basically saying, just ignore what happened 2 years ago. This is the real game. Just start fresh.
Yeah, which I sort of get, and I'm sort of glad by, and it's sort of, from their standpoint, I can sort of understand, because if you're playing No Man's Sky, there's really only two paths right now. You've been playing it for 2 years, and you've been keeping up with the patch notes. Or
you started it now.
Yeah, like, or you just heard, oh, well, it came on Xbox One, or it was $10 on PS4, and, you know, yeah, talk about a big FU for Moon.
Yeah, I literally mentioned in the show $50 and it's going for 20 elsewhere. The very next day, hey, Walmart, $10.
Yep. And then Amazon like immediately price matched it. I was like, well, that sucks. I mean, it's good for people with PS4 that don't yet have the game, but
yes.
And then like, you're right, the other half of the people are going to be, it's like one half is always hitting the wiki and they're on the subreddit and they're looking at patch notes, and the other half of the people that are playing it are just starting it for the first time, or like me, they're like, hey man, they wiped the universe, so that save doesn't really matter to me. But that quagmire in the middle of those two sort of sucks. And like, I can't even tell her, we'll go to the wiki and, you know, you have all your resources there, because they changed all the elements between 1.3 and 1.5. So like, I'm just glad that, for us, I'm glad that multiplayer is there, because we spent like 2 hours yesterday repairing her ship and scanning a bunch of dinosaurs on this planet, and like serpents that were flying in the sky, and, you know, we were mining a bunch of stuff and avoiding sentinels, and we were just having a good time, while I was able to use the limited knowledge of the stuff that I've learned from the tutorial to sort of get her back on her feet. But if I wasn't there, or if she had no resource to pick back up, I feel like it probably would have pushed her back out of it. Yeah,
that's a pick up what you're not explaining anything, put down.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I wouldn't have blamed her, because it's just doing nothing other than like, welcome back. All the technology that she had that doesn't exist in the game is now labeled as obsolete technology, and you just delete all of those. It leaves you with a bunch of scrap, which thankfully is very useful. But like, there had to have been a more elegant solution for some of this stuff.
You'd think.
And they're like a 10-person team, so at some point I become a little too empathetic about it, where it's like, you know, it must have been hard, you know, they're bug fighting and all this stuff, but at another point, like, you have to tutorialize something.
Yeah, it's the middle ground that nobody sees anymore.
Yeah.
It was treated like a AAA game put out by a I wouldn't even say a triple B developer, because the only thing I'd seen from them before this was Joe Danger, which was a pretty good game.
Which I keep forgetting about. That is a good game.
But that's not a developer that you expect to make this.
No, the gulf between these two games is so huge. Like, Joe Danger to me is almost the epitome of a downloadable game. Like, it's a very straightforward, simple, well executed, fun game. And then they make a universe simulator. Like, it's just it's
going from Qbert to Elite Dangerous. Like, it's
yeah, exactly. Like, it's
ridiculous.
It couldn't be any more different. But I don't know. I'm glad she's getting back into it, because I could use a buddy to explore space with. But if not, it's just so relaxing, and I love it so much. And I don't want to fight. Anytime I land on a planet that's like, oh, it's aggressive sentinels, or the weather's really bad, I just get back into space. I'm going to the next one. You know, like, I want to come to
time at that point.
Yeah, and like I just want to chill, but I don't want to play creative mode, because that strips out the story stuff, and I've never seen that before. So I kind of want to see that stuff, and I don't want to play survival, because that sounds like a nightmare. But I'm glad they have all these different options. Epic Stream Man in Mixer Chat says, nice you have that option. And like, that's, to me, that's what I like so much about No Man's Sky, is you have all these different modes, and now you have multiplayer, and like, you can transfer items from your inventory into somebody else's inventory if they're on the same planet that you are. So like, you know, we could get some fuel rat stuff going on now, where it's like, my wife needs her ship repaired, but if she wasn't able to get stuff from where she is on that planet, I could just warp in there, give her some chromatic metal, and then just kind of head back into space. So
yeah,
I don't know. I liked No Man's Sky during release.
Yeah,
like one of the 5 people in the world that did. So now that No Man's Sky is a more polished experience with more stuff to do in it,
yeah, you can't complain.
Yeah, like to me, it's like, oh no, my chocolate cake had more chocolate cake inside. Oh, it's so good, you know. Like, it's just sort of like, oh no, more of the thing I loved. You know, it's I'm not the redemption story here. I'm just sort of like, hey, No Man's Sky is still great. All right, let's play it again. So
yeah.
I feel badly, because a lot of people are like, hey, should I come back? And I'm like, I don't know, man, it's still really good. So,
and then they hear you say still, and they're like, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not the most reliable of pundits here, maybe.
I mean, my biggest complaint against the game was the expectation of time and money. Yeah. I don't have the time to put into it right now, and that price point was a bit of a sticking point. So it's fine. Like I said, I will probably get it when it goes on the Christmas sale.
Yep.
When it goes down to nice and cheap there.
Or if it goes on Game Pass especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to talk about a really good games with gold game?
Yes, exactly. But let's talk about my last game here, which is another game I have liked more than everybody else, which is Destiny 2.
Oh, really? Boy, you like that more than I had nothing but 5-star reviews about Destiny 2, dude.
That's so funny. God, Destiny 2. So this is the last month. Today marks 30 days until Forsaken comes out. The next big expansion, and it's the celebration of. All right, bye, Epic Stream Man. I know. I love whenever I start talking about Destiny 2. Everyone's like, "Oh God, okay, let's just fast forward. Hit that 30 seconds forward button."
Yep.
I don't blame you. So right now, since we're in the last month before Forsaken and the launch of Destiny 2 Year 2, right now is the Solstice of Heroes event, which is the celebration of Destiny 2 Year 1. As I said on PUP, it feels like it's been about 5 years long that Destiny 2 came out.
Hold on, wait.
It's only been a year.
No, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh,
when they said that, because like the Solstice of Heroes, I thought was going to be the summer event, because they always have like a summer event, a winter event, a Valentine's Day event, and they're like, it's a celebration of your Destiny 2 Year 1. I'm like, I feel like I'm 80 years old. Like,
dude, I kept thinking No Man's Sky came out a year ago. No Man's Sky has been out 2 years. Destiny 1, Destiny 2 has only been out 2 years. That feels like it's like 10 years old.
It's like when someone tells me, like, oh, you know, I feel so old. I was born in 2004, and I just, like, turn into ash. You know, like,
yeah.
So, me feeling old aside, Epic Stream Man says, how about games coming soon? I can't wait for Darksiders 3. I can't even think about Darksiders 3. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't exist until it's like a week before it's going to come out. I'm going to pre-order it, and then...
No, until it says ready to play, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, when I pop my disc in and it opens. So the Solstice of Heroes event is actually really cool. And I didn't understand what they were going for as they were explaining it until I got my hands on it. So there are two halves of it, and I'll sort of break it down as they deliver it to you. Minor spoilers here, but I don't think anyone's going to care. When you start, you land in the tower, and there's a giant statue in front of you, and you go and you interact with it, and it's so crazy, and it's not going to mean much to anybody, but I love it. It teleports you from the tower to the last city, which is that sprawling giant city underneath the tower where all the humans that aren't Guardians live.
Okay. The place that was trashed.
Yes. And it is either before it got trashed or after it's been rebuilt. I sort of can't tell, but it's super cool to be in the last city for the first time.
Yep.
And it's you can't really explore a lot in it, and it's unfortunate you kind of can't go back to it, but lore-wise, it's really cool. You go and interact with like a pedestal that's behind Ikora, and it starts you in the very first Redux mission. So they've redone 5 missions in the game. Let me see if I remember them: Homecoming, Spark, Chosen, Payback, and 1 AU. The 5 most memorable missions from the game, let's say.
So the 5 story missions in the game.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. They made them so ridiculously hard.
Of course they did.
It's so much fun because they've not only changed enemy placements, but they've also changed the types of enemies you fight and the difficulties and their AI and what you have to do in the mission to finish it. Like, they've retooled each one of these missions so much. Like, you know, the Homecoming is the very first mission, you know, where you go up to that ship and you're sort of working your way through, and then you blow up that that generator at the end with those spinning arms. And you work your way through this whole mission, and you get to that generator at the end, and the parts where you have to shoot are blocked off. And so you're like, okay, well, I don't know what I need to do here now. So you hop down onto that platform, and a whole bunch of enemies and a boss that's flanked by 2 super tough enemies pop out, and you sort of have to fight this boss while you're dodging these arms and dodging all these enemies, and it's so much different than how easy the base game was.
Yeah.
That it makes revisiting these missions a lot more fun, because it's sort of like, here's a fun spoiler. Spark is that mission really early on in the game where you go find that shard of the Traveler and you get your light back.
Yep.
And you fight like a fallen captain or something. At the beginning of the mission, you land and there's a fallen walker there, and it's blocking the way for you to go through. So like immediately it's way harder. At the end, you just fight a servitor, one of those floating ball things.
Yeah.
And you kill it, and you're like, well, that was sort of a letdown, until it splits into 2 servitors, and you kill them. Each one of them splits into 4. Each one of them splits into 8. So like,
oh wow,
pretty soon you were surrounded by 32 mini little servitors, and there's no cover, and it's chaotic. And it's like, all right, you know, you guys took a mission that was fairly uninteresting, and you sort of had a little fun with it, and you left us a surprise. And
yeah.
I think that's really great. So when you finish that very first mission, you get kicked back to the tower, you talk to the statue again, and it gives you a full set of green armor, so basically the lowest quality. And each one of those armor pieces has 3 challenges associated with it. Basically, go through all the 5 missions, and it'll check off the mission for each one of them. One of them might be talk to Ikora and do a meditation, which is replaying one of the regular story missions. One is kill 10 enemies in PvP. One might be do 10 heroic public events. And once you do all of those, you then upgrade that green armor to blue armor, and you get another set of more challenging challenges on each one of the armor pieces. And then you complete those, and then you get the full purple armor set that is 15 power higher than the power max. So
that's really cool. That's actually a good reward as well.
Yeah, because the max right now is 385, and it gives you level 400 power armor. I really like this system a lot, because I think what Bungie would have done before is like, all right, you can get this one armor piece in a better quality at, you know, it's a 10% chance when you finish Heroic Strike.
Yeah.
That grind sucks. Instead, this one says complete 5 Heroic Strikes.
Yeah.
Cool, I can do that just on my own time. But I'm also working on getting 100 Void Weapon kills, and I'm also working on getting 100 Arc Grenade kills. So, like, I'm working on a bunch of stuff, and I feel like if I don't have a bunch of time to play all at once, I can pop down, do some heroic events, and work on a couple of things, at the very least, on my own time, instead of having to run the Nightfall over and over to get the headpiece. You know, that's... I have to give Bungie a lot of credit. They put a grind in for this event, which is good, but they put an intelligently designed grind in there, which
attainable
is the best
grind
way.
Instead.
Yeah, and to me, like, right now, and they gave you enough time. Thank you, baby Jesus, because it started on July 28th, and it ends on August 28th, I think. So it runs for a full month. So even if you don't have a ton of time, like, one of Destiny 2's biggest problems has been, all right, Iron Banner is here, and it's one of the 3 Iron Banners that's going to be here for this season. If you're, like, out of state for work for the week, you're kind of SOL.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see them have a more challenging, longer grind that I don't need to do right now. To be fair, I have completed the full armor set for my Warlock already, but...
Yep, I saw that.
That's because, number one, I wanted my t-shirt, which I just ordered this morning. Yes! But number two, there's a really cool exotic ship you can get if you complete the purple armor set on all 3 of your characters. And that's great, because if you just want the armor set, like, my Warlock is now ready for Forsaken, and I probably have, like, a little bit of a leg up, because I'm a little bit past the power cap, which I'm sure I'll pick up a green armor as soon as it starts, and it'll be like, oh, this is light level 600, great, okay.
Yep.
But now I have, like, a cool looking cohesive set that looks really neat, and I feel like I accomplished something cool. And if I can do it for all 3 characters, I can get a cool, super limited ship. And it feels like they finally got the grind right. After 3 years of Destiny 1 and 1 year of Destiny 2, this is exactly what you want the grind to be in a loot game like this. And I might be just filling up experience bars, but I can do it on my own time.
Yeah, and if it's experience bars that you like to fill up, then what's the big deal?
Yeah, and I'm kind of doing stuff I've never done before. Like, one of them is complete 10 adventures. And I'm like, well, God, I never really did a bunch of adventures. Those are the little orange icons after you finish the game.
Yeah, I did a couple of them. I actually really like them. I think they're very interesting.
Yeah, I did maybe like 4 or 5 of them just to see what they were. But like, I'd rather run the Nightfall and I'd rather play PvP. But now I'm not really forced, I'd say encouraged to do these 10 adventures. And I found a bunch that were really cool. And I was like, well, maybe I should finish up the rest of them, you know, now that I have to do them on 2 other characters. So it's nice to see, through the Moments of Triumph and through the Solstice of Heroes, to see like all the nooks and crannies that Destiny 2 has to offer. And it makes me a little bummed that I had to be pushed into doing it instead of the game somehow otherwise encouraging me to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Destiny 2 is really good, and I'm so excited for Forsaken to come out next month.
Of course.
Yeah. And they actually did, for anyone that might want to hop into Destiny 2 or maybe didn't buy the 2 expansions that you'll need to buy before Forsaken, they announced a big pack, which is Destiny 2, the first 2 expansions, and Forsaken, just for $60.
So they're doing exactly what they did with Destiny 1 and
Yep.
boning people like me who bought the main game but not any of the DLC so far.
Not really, because the DLC should be on super sale pretty soon.
It should be, but come on, is it really going to be?
They said they're going to put it on super sale right before Forsaken comes out. Because Forsaken is $30, and they know it's a really crappy thing to say, well, either spend $30 on the DLC and Forsaken, or buy this big pack, which I like that they put out the big pack. I will always disagree that it's boning people. I think, to me, it's no different than Blizzard putting out like their battle chests, especially for WoW. They've done that for like, all right,
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, so basically, it's Blizzard's done the same thing for 20-something years. You know, like when an expansion is like, let's say 1 expansion old, they'll take that expansion and everything else in WoW before that, and they'll bundle it up for like $10. So I think the expectation is there. I think for a lot of people that maybe haven't played MMOs, this is a new concept.
Yeah.
But it's a really great, I think it's a really great place for people like you that maybe bought vanilla Destiny 2 and understandably didn't engage with the rest of it. Or somebody that has been seeing the work Bungie has been putting in, let's be honest, it's a little late, and wanting to dive into Forsaken. I think that's a pretty great price. You can buy Destiny 2 for $5 right now also, which is a pretty great price for a vanilla Destiny 2, because in a month you're going to have to spend a bunch of money to get, I guess, current, which hopefully will be the last time they make that mistake.
I hope, but who knows?
We'll see. Bungie doesn't leave me hopeful about their mistake history. So
no, neither does Activision / Blizzard. So
yeah, that's fair too. Yeah, Activision isn't exactly a paragon like we've been sort of feeling positively about Ubisoft.
They're not the most scrupulous people.
There we go. I maybe Ubisoft should buy Bungie.
I'd love that.
I wonder if Ubisoft could afford to purchase away the Destiny franchise from Activision. I doubt Activision would want to sell it. I would really like to see that level of smart support that Ubisoft has figured out applied to Destiny.
True, but wasn't it rumored like $100 million for the 10-year deal or whatever they get?
That was only marketing, by the way.
So yeah, Ubisoft they could probably afford it, but they would open the door right back open for ZeniMax or whoever it was to come in and be like,
Vivendi or whoever it was. Yeah,
I'm sorry, you spent how much money? Here's $5. We now own you.
we're coming back, baby. All right, well that's enough Destiny 2 talk, and that's all I've been playing this week. So let's take a break.
Yep.
It is so hot in here.
Yeah, right there with you. I need water in the bathroom break.
Also,
Alrighty. For the record, she really doesn't like this cushion chair. She literally...
just laying behind it.
I put that chair there for her, and she just ignored it to go on the cushion.
Jeez. Alright, hello everyone in chat. Hello there, Dimebag. Saw you just joined in, but I was off on my... off my usual Destiny 2 tangent. That was the first half. Yeah, we talked a lot about anime in the pre-show. We sort of got a little bit away. It got a little away from us. Let's check news stories. Nintendo announces Nintendo Direct for August 8th. Oh, cool. It is a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct. All right. Well, featuring new game information delivered by director Masahiro Sakurai. Cool. Something about Super Smash Brothers at EVO. I haven't watched any EVO. I feel like I've already missed all of it. Yeah, there's just a bunch of videos. I don't really want to watch a bunch of screaming EVO commentators. Moon, I went to ECC and I tried so many juices. I'm stuck playing Enter the Gungeon. Oh, I love Enter the Gungeon. This new patch is so good. Man, they put so much work into this new patch, and it's really great. Hitomi and Lei Fang teased for Dead or Alive 6 ahead of a likely reveal at Gamescom 2018. I'm getting very excited about DOA 6. Seems like they have the right direction going. A new Guilty Gear game is in the works. Man. Evo's really hitting it on all fronts here. Overwatch League. Guilty Gear finalist makes it further than any other American player has in years. Oh, that's the end of the news stories. Okay, let's check Reset Era. Apologies for anyone that's listening. I think Moon just turned on his air conditioning to get a little bit of a cool breeze for a little bit.
Yes, I did. Because I literally just opened the door, and do you remember Fight Club, how he describes the house that they live in? Mm-hmm. That's how I feel like this house is right now. The first word that popped into my head when I opened that door behind me was literally the word sweaty.
Yes.
Like, air felt sweaty.
Yeah. Oh, man. What time is it? 3:45. Whew. I am ready to start whenever you are, then. We'll, motor through the second half here.
Oh, dummy. Let me get some cola.
I'm sorry. I bet it's really nice outside, but I haven't heard the usual, lawn equipment that runs like every Sunday, so I feel like as soon as I open that door, it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Here it's not nice outside. Here it has been thunderstorming for 10 minutes and then stopping for the past like week.
And just leaving the air super muggy.
Yes, which is why the word sweaty popped into my head.
Yeah.
When I stuck my head out that door.
Hey, humidity is only 36% today. Thank God. 95 degrees, and most of the week has been 50% humidity. It's like, okay, cool.
Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can figure out mine. 96 degrees. Let me check if I can stick to the humidity level. I've got 10% chance of precipitation because it. 96 feels like 106.
Great. That's what I love to hear.
Yep. Nope, my stupid thing does. Oh, humidity 60%.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah.
And now we're into August, so like for you, there's no relief in sight. For me, we haven't even hit the hot season yet. That's October.
Yep.
So
the best thing is here it will just remain this temperature now right up until like September, like end of September, and then just click of the fingers and it'll just go, oh, by the way, now it's ice.
Yeah, it just like breaks and it's
Yep.
Now it's super chilly.
Stupid weather.
Yeah. Oh man.
I was about to say what's ECC, but then I realized that he's not talking about juices to drink. He's probably talking about these juices.
Ah, the vape juices.
The vape juices. I don't know what ECC is. What is ECC?
I don't know.
Electronic Cigarette Convention?
That'd be fun. It would smell really nice.
Damn you, Brad, and your cloud of lies.
Oh, it's so good.
That might be one of my favorite tweets of all time.
God. Oh man, I am so friggin' tired. So like 4 hours last night. I think it's finally just caught up with me. That's the worst part about not having air conditioning and it being so hot. It's like it stays hot until like 2 in the morning.
Yep. And then it's like, oh, now I can sleep. Oh, now it's 4 and it's hot again.
Yep. Ugh.
It is a vapors convention. It's the electronic cigarette convention.
You got it right. Oh man. Not a great week for news stories this week.
No. I wonder if you get like wait for Gamescom at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. A PSX is probably going to happen pretty soon too. Is there a PSX this year? PSX 2018.
But then they can all have that experience where they all walk from booth to booth to booth to experience the 5 games they have to show.
Yeah, that's right. Second Southeast Asia PSX will be held on August 18th and 19th. Okay, so that's coming up soon. I don't think there's a North America PSX yet. What's Microsoft's one? Xbox Experience?
Ooh, okay. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that. I just pulled up my calendar on my PC, and it does the weird thing with the calendar where it had like a flashlight effect on the days when I highlighted a day. It was really cool.
Oh, huh.
But I just realized we record Game Club on the weekend of my wife's birthday.
Oh. Well then. Thankfully, Celeste isn't a super long game, as far as it seems.
True.
I think I'm like 4 or 5 hours in at the end of chapter 5, and I know there's 8 chapters.
I was gonna look up something, but I can't remember. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Xbox One is called I can't remember what it was called. It was called the Experience at one point.
Yeah, it was like Xbox Experience. That was when it was in like the tent in the middle of Arizona.
Yeah.
For 360.
And then they did something else, and I don't know.
Man, I just remembering that cool logo they had for the 360, the one where it was that silver X and it had all the green rings around it with the different shades. I really dug that.
Yeah. I kind of like the Xbox One because I like the fact that they're getting away from the green. Like, don't get me wrong, I do think green was a good color choice by them.
Yep.
Also helps that green is my favorite color.
It's the last primary color. The other 2 companies took the other ones.
Well, yeah, the other 3. Nintendo took red.
Yep.
Sega had blue. And then Sony stole blue.
Yep. Off Sega's dead corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Sega did have blue. That's true.
Mm-hmm. Because it was always the red versus the blue, which is very ironic coming from Liverpool, where the 2 professional soccer teams are the Reds and the Blues.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that was a good choice for Microsoft to latch. They latched on a green pretty early on because that original Xbox's dashboard had like it like split open and it was green inside. Ugh.
And the console itself was black and green. And the
Oh
controller
yeah,
was
that's true. It
black
had
and
that green thing in the middle. Yeah.
And the cable was like black with the green coloring intertwined in it.
You remember way more about the original Xbox than I do.
Because that was my jam, dude.
I loved that console, but
I didn't have a PlayStation, and it was a control. I didn't have a PlayStation. What? Wait, I did have a PlayStation. I didn't have a PC, and it was a controller that fit my hands perfectly.
The Duke was big enough.
Yes.
Yeah, PS2 controller was very small.
The OG PS controller was even worse.
Yeah, the non-dual stick one.
DualShock.
Yeah,
that was probably one of the worst controllers ever.
Well, people don't remember there was a controller before the DualShock. It had analog sticks, but no rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the first rumble ones were... those were the ones where it had the analog button where you could turn the sticks on and off on the controller. That's still weird.
Was it the DualShock 3? Was that the first one where it had the analog buttons in it?
PS2 had analog buttons.
Yes, it did, because it was Metal Gear Solid 3 where you had to half press it to hold the gun up and fully press it to shoot the gun.
MGS2 did that too, where you could like ease off on the trigger button so you wouldn't fire. Yeah, DualShock 3... No, sorry. What was the launch PS3's controller name? Is it the PS3's...
Oh, it was the 6-axis is what you're talking about there.
The 6-axis, because it didn't, because of that lawsuit, which Sony likes to forget. It didn't launch with rumble till the DualShock 3 came out.
And I'm sorry, but for my controllers, it's all about the weight. I want a nice heavy controller.
That 6-axis was like...
It felt like I was going to break it every time I picked it up.
It was so light. Yeah, and like the DualShock 3 came out, and I was like, right, that's the weight. That's what I want.
That's one of the reasons I love the Elite, because that thing is a dense piece of kit.
Nice.
Like, it's super heavy.
I don't think I've ever held an Elite. I don't want to break it. It's too expensive.
It's really... It feels like it's got the... It's like the Xbox One X. Like, pick up the Xbox One X, and that thing is...
It's a black hole.
Exactly. It's a black hole. It's like a collapsed star. It's so ridiculously heavy. It's like, how did they make this as small as it is and as heavy as it is?
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need both a new PS4 and a new Xbox One controller, and I'm like, maybe I'll just mortgage my house. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to afford that.
Oh, I'm at the point where I'm debating when because we bought a Nighthawk.
Bro, yeah, how's that working?
Really well for like a week, and then the internet issues started again today. So
Great.
That's fun. Which is probably down to Spectrum not upgrading the lines, aka when they bullshitted the government.
What a shitstorm that's been. God.
Yeah. Which I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to get anything like that. But the reason governments exist is to protect consumers from corporations making bad decisions.
Right.
My situation right now with our internet provider is a prime example of that, because they allowed the sale of Time Warner to go to Spectrum, specifically in New York. They allowed that because the Spectrum said that they would implement a bunch of improvements along the way, which would give better service to more people. And
they'd put fiber in a bunch of areas. Like they sang a good song and dance.
Yeah, and then what did they do about that? Nothing.
Dick all.
And then they lied and falsified information to the government.
Right.
About the progress they were making.
The only thing I could see potentially being good coming out of that is if Spectrum does get kicked out. I really, really hope municipal governments in New York decide to get into their own internet service. Everywhere that has happened in the U.S., you have dirt cheap internet at incredibly fast speeds.
People don't seem to realize that yes, if the government isn't getting involved like this, well, you're just hating the blah blah blah. No, they're protecting us from the bullshit and lies.
Right.
This corporation,
from like Time Warner and AT&T.
Yep. Like that's why governments exist, is so that this stuff doesn't happen. Net neutrality, folks.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Anyway, moving on. Let's go.
Yeah, you ready to wrap this sweatbox up? I don't know where I'm going with that.
You know my chair is leather.
Yeah, mine is half leather and half something that doesn't breathe at all.
Yeah, I don't actually know if it's true leather, but it's either leather or pleather, which either way it has the same effect.
Real sticky.
Yes.
All right, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of August 6th, 2018. Dead Cells finally getting the full release. PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, also like OS X, Linux, and a whole bunch of other platforms. So,
how much is this?
It's 20% off right now for like a pre-order thing on most platforms. I think it's like $11 or $12.
Okay, that's not too bad. So I guess I'm adding another game to my collection.
Yeah, I pre-ordered on PS4 because I looked at the price and I was like, all right, if it's under $15, I'll really think about it. And the pre-order price came out to like $11 and change. And I'm like, well, now I kind of have to because it's so stinking cheap. They got me again.
Great.
Overcooked 2 comes out PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. That's a game I really love watching people play. I don't want to fight with anyone in my life right now, so I won't be picking it up.
I'll be honest. You might think you start fights over, but it's actually usually pretty good fun. The fight is just laughing about stupid things that happen. There's never blame placed when I've played it.
I threw this meat off the truck. I can't believe it.
Which, when you consider that I'm married to the Queen of Trolls and she also happens to work in a kitchen, the fact that we made it through that game with 0 fights, tells you how light-hearted that game is.
Okay, good.
At least the first one is.
Yeah. Minute is coming out on Switch, which...
that's a game that I really want to play.
Yeah, I still really love this game. It'll probably end up in my top 10 this year, and having it on Switch is probably going to be a pretty great platform for that game.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter World comes out on PC. Speaking about pretty good platforms for a game, that seems like a really great port of that game.
Yeah, from everything I'm hearing people talking about that game, the resources needed to play it are apparently really high for what it is.
Yeah.
But I also understand they've got whatever that stupid high resource intensive anti-piracy stuff in there.
Yeah. Denuvo, probably.
Yes, that thing. So I imagine in 2 months when somebody eventually cracks it...
Yeah, and they just patch it out of there.
They patch it out of there. I'm expecting those system requirements to drop significantly.
Yeah. Like it usually does, and then they go, "No, it wasn't because of that. I mean, we just had enhancements."
No,
it couldn't possibly be because of that.
That patch was also optimization. Don't be silly.
Yeah, weird. Okami HD also comes out on Switch, which also seems like a really great platform for that game.
Yeah,
it does have touchscreen support. I found out.
So yes,
that's pretty much all you need.
Yeah. If you want to play Okami, you got to play it on the Switch, apparently.
Yeah. We Happy Few comes out PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
I could not care less.
Yeah, I sort of... It sounds mean. I kind of don't care because I still don't know what that game is. You know, like, when they showed it, it was like, hey, here's a, British, 50s, 60s Bioshock. And I was like, that seems cool. And Early Access comes out, hey, it's a survival game. I was like, well, that sucks. I don't want that at all. And I don't think they have really clarified. They put out a really good trailer every time.
Yep.
But I don't think they've done a good job at all of clarifying what that game is.
No, 100%.
The most I see of that game is when it's on the Gymquisition. That's a bad sign.
Yeah. That's a really bad sign. Like, if your game is getting really hardcore featured by Jim, it's one of two things: a steaming pile or Dynasty Warriors.
Exactly. And he even voices a character in the game, probably, because he's been pretty harsh on it. And last but not least, Mini Metro comes out on the Switch, which is a game I've wanted to play for a really long time, and I just have never picked it up on phone, so I'll probably pick it up on Switch.
Is that a build-your-own metro subway station?
Yeah, but it's like a puzzle game sort of thing. It looks really cool.
like that plane game that was on the DS where you had to land air traffic controller.
Yeah, I think something like that. I think it also has soundtrack by Disaster Piece, which
okay,
means the soundtrack is going to be great. All right, let's move on to news and stories. Not a lot this week. I guess it's always newsworthy when Valve puts out a new game. Their last game they put out was Dota 2 in 2013, which feels like it was 20 years ago. Their card game Artifact is going to be coming out November 28th. The most surprising thing, though, about it, it's not free to play. It's $20. That seems weird.
Now, here's the question. Are they doing that because they're taking out all free-to-play stuff from the game, so that you earn the packs in the game and you spend them? Or are they doing that because it's Valve and they can?
I think you already know in asking that question. So apparently, $20 gets you the game and a whole bunch of starter decks. And then, as this article says, and more for more cards. So each booster pack is going to be $2.
Okay, so it's the compendium for the internationals.
Yeah, I guess you'll get 54 cards and then 10 booster packs, which contain 12 random cards, and then there's going to be more than 280 cards in the base game. So play
Congratulations.
Hearthstone.
Yes.
I feel like at $20, that's enough of an investment from a money standpoint that $2 a pack for a booster pack isn't bad.
Yeah.
But the two of them together, that feels really shady.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what other word to use other than shady. Like, it just feels greedy. Like, you're making Dota and Team Fortress 2 hat money. You have all of the money. Just make this free to play.
Boston?
Yes.
This is the same company that opened the doors on their store, which promptly made someone release a game that was basically mining cryptocurrency with everybody who bought the game's CPU cards.
That's fair. Yeah.
They really don't care.
It's just really disappointing because I feel like when you look at the difference between PUBG and Fortnite, I feel like the main difference between those two games is one of them is free and doing really well. One of them costs money and is still doing very well, but isn't doing Fortnite. You know, like,
yeah.
I feel like we were just talking about the original Xbox. I feel like Valve can pull an Xbox 360 with Artifact by saying, like, we can afford to take the monetary hit up front. You know, like when the 360 came out, it's like, all right, this console is going to be pretty cheap. Don't forget, completely forget about that last one. Whatever, it's only been out for 2 years, but screw that thing. Look at this new hotness. I feel like Valve could have done that, but for $20,
This is also Valve, so what IP is Artifact based on?
I don't know. I feel like that's a problem.
Yeah.
I want to say it's a Dota card game, but I don't think that's right. I think it's a new IP.
If it's a new IP, it should be free to play.
Yeah.
If it's Dota 2, they don't care because people are going to spend the money on Dota 2.
Yeah, I don't...
And at the end of the day, you sit there and say they can take the monetary hit on this game. What monetary hit?
Right.
If they have got resources up the wazoo, they are not taking a monetary hit on anything unless they start selling knives through Steam.
Right. Yeah, the Wikipedia says the game's concept is heavily based upon Dota 2. I also didn't know this was designed by Richard Garfield, who's the dude that created Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
so
that much I did know.
That's cool. And also apparently early next year it's going to come out on Android and iOS, which $20 will not fly there for sure.
No.
So, not sure.
At the end of the day, it should be free. Because if they're gonna It's the old classic loot box microtransaction BS that we talk about every single time a game gets released these days. If you have microtransactions, release your game for free. If you do not charge for your game, end of discussion.
I mean, and they have Hearthstone to directly compare to. Hearthstone is still making crazy, stupid money because it's free. And then those card pack opening animations are so cool.
Didn't Fortnite post what, like $100 million in revenue from 1 month on the iTunes store?
Yeah, on one platform. 1 month on one platform, they made $100 million. It's insane. And like, I think Hearthstone does the smart thing too, because they sell their expansions. They'll be like, oh well, here's a new set of dungeons and here's all the new cards. It's $20. I think that's fair. I mean, at that point, you already the first hit is free, so $20 doesn't seem so bad.
They got me. I jumped into Hearthstone really late, and I was like, no, I need to spend the money to get these single player campaigns.
Yeah. And
I did that, and I loved the game, and that game is fantastic.
Yep.
But I did not want to spend 7 hours a day playing that game.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
My big thing for me is these games as a service thing. The thing that usually kicks me away from them is when someone describes the game as having a meta. The second you say the meta has changed, I am like,
yeah,
I'm out.
Yeah, like your time you can already hear the time investment like falling off the cliff.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Fortnite, our next news story, Epic is going to be releasing Fortnite on Android soon-ish. The real rub of it is they're not putting it on the Google Play Store. They were surprisingly upfront saying, we don't want Google to take 30%.
But they've got no problem with Apple doing the same.
Yeah, but I think the difference there is they don't have an option. Like, every iPhone can't sideload apps. You can if you jailbreak, and it's fairly easy to do. But on Android, that's a much easier prospect for you to just like install another APK and put that on your phone.
True.
I think for that 30%, this is really dangerous because to me, Fortnite is so big. We talked about this a little bit when we were talking about video game addiction. Fortnite is so big. I can already see, and I bet they're already live, these like fake install Fortnite web pages where it's like install Fortnite.net, and it's like, oh yeah, that looks like Fortnite, and then suddenly you've got a keylogger installed on your phone.
My PlayStation 4 account is barely a month old, and I already got 4 messages about getting free V-Bucks.
Yeah, that sucks. And
so,
there's like no, and Sony doesn't care about that, and that sucks.
No, I literally am going to have to turn off my notifications on my PlayStation, which I hate.
I think this is really dangerous from Epic Games. I think at some point your product gets so big that you have some responsibility for the security of the platform. As weird as that sounds.
No, it makes perfect sense. Like, in my work environment, I literally had to tell the owner of the company I work for to not click a link because it looked shady and to just highlight the link, at which point they clicked the link.
And that's going to be Fortnite's problem on Android, is like, with the number of people that are playing this game, I think it's an unfair expectation for every single one of those people to know what the official website is, follow the official directions, and like install the APK correctly to get the Epic Games launcher on your phone instead of doing like Hearthstone is on the Google Play Store. You know, all these other games are there because it's the easy place for someone to go search Fortnite and oh, there we go, we're gonna install it, we're good.
And how long is it going to take for someone to put up a not Fortnite?
I bet there's already a dozen of them.
In Google Play Store.
Yep.
That literally takes you to a fake install of Fortnite, puts that keylogger in, and installs Fortnite.
Yep.
but now has all of your information because you just launched Fortnite from Google Play, where it's not technically available because the clones are there.
Yep. Yeah, and like it'll do that thing where it's like, hey, we need some permissions, and it's just like the full screen list of all the permissions it wants. It's like, fine, I just want to play Fortnite, whatever.
We need permission for your PayPal account and your credit card information.
We're gonna call your mom.
Mm-hmm. What's the name of your first dog?
Yeah, exactly. What's your mother's maiden name? Like, don't worry, we won't use this stuff. Wink.
Social security number, please.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's all our news stories. Let's move on to TVGP recommends. Do you have anything for this week?
Unfortunately, no.
I have a recommendation, mostly because I just finished this series. I've been waiting to recommend it because it took me a while to get into the final book, mostly because I didn't want to finish the series.
One of those.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, oh, it's the last book. I don't want to start yet. It's called the Heartstrikers series. It starts with the reason my wife and I started reading this is because the first book is titled "Nice Dragons Finish Last," and that's a really great title. All 5 of these books are incredible, and I'm so happy with how the series ended. When I first started reading them, then there were only 3 out, and I thought it was a trilogy. And like the 3rd one ended, and I was like, "That sucks! Like, where's the rest of it? Yeah, I can't end there." And it's like, no, there's 2 more coming out. I can't recommend these enough. This is probably one of my recent favorite fantasy series, and I usually don't like books with dragons in them, like mainly featuring dragons, but having them be in modern times and the main character being the weakest, most worthless dragon with no powers was really good.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's the Heartstrikers series starts with Nice Dragons Finish Last, which is just a really great title. Let's move on to questions. First off, we have in Mixer chat the Mode Raider.
The moderator. The moderator dude. Come on.
Almost got it. Says, hey guys, what do you think of Realm Royale? Seems lost to me. Too much going on for a Battle Royale mode.
Honestly, I have heard the name. I've never seen hide nor hair of this game.
I feel like that's the problem if you're not the top 2. If you're not PUBG and you're not Fortnite, you're kind of everybody else. Like, you have Paladins, you have Realm Royale, you have all these other...
I'm pretty sure Paladins and Realm Royale are made by the same people.
Are they really?
I think Paladins was the MOBA, and I think Realm Royale was the Battle Royale version that they tried to use the Paladins characters for, but the classes didn't work out well, so they just ended up making something completely different.
So I know even less about this game.
From what I understand, and I understand nothing about that game.
That sounds like something a video game developer would do.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem, well, like we were just talking about, Fortnite's too big, and PUBG is too big at this point, too, that anyone else, they're just fighting for scraps at this point. Especially with this, what just happened to the Culling 2. I mean, there's no real 3rd place right now, I don't think.
And that was the Culling's team's fault, though.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like that didn't do a lot of... I feel like that hurt a lot of the other developers, where it's, the Culling
the perception.
The reception was really big for really bad reasons, and their resolution is really good, but sort of like the nuclear option. So I don't know. Fortnite is too big. I don't know. It's like in the 90s. It was Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and everybody else.
Yeah.
There's no 3rd place.
Yeah. In the 2000s, it was Halo versus Killzone.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was over there playing Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. And then everybody else was like, you talk about your Halo and Killzone, we'll play our Unreal and Quake, thank you very much.
I'm playing MAG. All All right, let's move on to other questions. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord hits us up and says, with all the positive praise No Man's Sky has been getting from the media and gamers in general, this seems like it could be one of the best stories in gaming this year. You can even tell the dev himself is very proud of what they've put out, and his vision is finally being realized. My questions are, what can other devs learn from this? Do you think this will open the door for gamers to check in on games after big updates for something they may have not enjoyed at first?
First thing I think they learned is be very careful who you sign what with.
Yeah.
Because I realized that on this show, I am the Microsoft fanboy. I am in a Microsoft fan household.
Mm-hmm.
I am the person who will probably be viewed as the most anti-Sony. But at the end of the day, as you look at two really small indie games signed by two big developers, you've got No Man's Sky and Sony, and you have Below and Microsoft.
That's a great point.
Tell me who handled which one better.
Or even Cuphead on Microsoft's side. I mean, I think you're right. I guess I didn't even realize until you just brought that up that as soon as No Man's Sky started floundering, Sony was like, hey man, we're just the publisher, like, they're the developer, like, whatever, see you later, and like ran out the back door.
Not even just that, but they were also the ones responsible for being like, here is $50 million in advertising money, make this thing look like the biggest thing ever.
Sean Murray on E3 stage showing off No Man's Sky. Like, yeah. I think for me, if I was a developer looking at No Man's Sky, I think it would be really easy to say, all right, the next update is coming out and it's $15. We have to recoup some of our cost. It's been a rough 2 years. The biggest benefit they have done is that next update is free. Almost everybody, as soon as they've heard that, is, oh yeah, okay, maybe I'll pop No Man's Sky back in, or like maybe I'll re-download it and check it out. I bought it on launch and I didn't like it, but yeah, maybe I'll get. That's how they got 100,000 concurrent users on Steam the other day for No Man's Sky. Like, the biggest thing they could have done is said, we have completely changed the game and it's free.
Yep. I think they made the right choices. I think the thing that hurt them the most was Sony. I think the damage done to that brand, to that game, to that studio, all starts with Sony. It doesn't end with Sony, but it definitely starts with the representation which Sony allowed them to have.
I feel like that overshadows the PC version, because PC version was always really great. It was super stable, didn't need really big, really crazy hardware. You know, it was always a pretty rock solid version, but Sony was in the picture.
Yep.
And I'm a big supporter of Sony, and I have been
they've done
since the PS1,
things.
But they screwed it up.
Yeah, I think
they screwed up the reception.
I think that this is going to sound really bad. I think if you are a third party working with Sony, stuff like that would scare me.
Yes.
But if you look at what Sony do with their in-house studios, look at God of War, look at The Last of Us, look at Spider-Man. These
Uncharted.
are all essentially in-house. Ordinary makes no difference in-house because
second party applies to.
Yeah, because the Spider-Man developers, that's Insomniac, who are technically not first or second party, but they were with them long enough to essentially just be second party.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, God, I could have sworn they are second party, but I think they de facto second party at this point. Yeah,
and the way Sony handles them is fantastic. Like the God of War team, look at what they did with the God of War team. They said, here is a bunch of money, go make what you want to make, let us know when you're ready.
We're not going to bother you.
Yeah, and then you look at what they did with No Man's Sky, where it's like, here is a bunch of money, we're pushing you to the moon.
Yeah.
We hope you're ready.
Yeah.
Whereas on the flip side of that, you got Below, where Microsoft essentially bought the rights to that game, and then they said we're not ready. It's not good. It's not fun.
We just need more time.
Yeah, and literally that's what you get. You get them saying, okay, take more time.
And what's so crazy about that is Microsoft's been on the back foot for most of this generation, and they could have. It would have been so understandable for them to say, like, look, Cappy, like, we just needed a game out of you. Like, we needed something 2 years ago, and it's not working. Like, we have to cut ties. I think everybody would have been like, yeah, okay. Like, it just wasn't coming together.
They also just could have turned around and said, "We don't care. Push it out now. We need,
Sure.
even if it's just exclusive, we need it." I give you Crackdown 3. I give you Scalebound.
Yep.
Two examples where they could have just said, "We don't care if it's good. Just get it out the door."
Just poop it out.
And instead, they've said, "Crackdown 3 is kind of the joke at this point."
Right.
But Scalebound, they could have just said, "We don't care. Get it out the door."
Yep.
But they didn't. So they were like, "Okay, things didn't work out. Cancel it."
Yep. Yeah. I would like to say that Sony has learned something from No Man's Sky's everything.
Mm-hmm. But
E3 this year wasn't great. I feel like I feel like it's in one of those where like it's like yelling at a dog. You might feel a little bit better. They don't know what they did.
no.
Like, Sony, I think, heard the words, like, you screwed up with No Man's Sky, and they're like, yeah, we sure screwed up on something. I'm going to apologize. People are mad, but I don't know what I did.
Yep. I did think as well with that is look at what they did for this year's E3. They went straight back to what they do best.
Yep.
The first and second party titles.
Yep.
That they can sit there and give all the time they need. And don't get me wrong, I wish I had Spider-Man in my PlayStation 4 and I had that stupid controller thing so I could play it for 5 hours without having to worry about it. But I don't.
Donbag in chat says, would you guys have picked up Scalebound? Day one.
Yeah. Platinum.
100%. It's a Platinum game where you're riding dragons and fighting stuff. Like, yeah.
And you have sweet headphones. Yes.
Yeah. I think for me, just the concept of Platinum is making another character action game that looks so different from everything else we have. Their pedigree and them putting out something different. I mean that was a home run for me. I'm still bummed it didn't come together.
Me too. I mean, that game looked like Devil May Cry on acid, and when you consider what Devil May Cry is already, that's something completely insane.
But I totally understand Microsoft and Platinum coming together and saying like it wasn't happening, like it wasn't coming together into a game, and I applaud both of them, especially Platinum being in sort of dire straits for the last couple of years.
Because I think that's one of the reasons why, though, is because Platinum would have been in rough shape, and they needed to take on as much as they could, as quick as they could.
Yep.
Because at that time, I'm pretty sure they were in the middle of developing like 4 or 5 games for different companies.
Oh yeah, a lot of licensed stuff too.
And it's like, I get it, like, do what you need to do to keep the studio alive, and good on them both for just turning around and saying, okay, this was a bust.
Yeah, it's not working. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord also asks, an indie game called Dendara dropped in Game Pass this month. I'm really enjoying it as it's a pleasant surprise. It's an indie game, and with so many good titles releasing, it's hard to get noticed. Do you see more indie titles going to Game Pass or eventually launching in Game Pass?
I think that service is a really good solution for indie games, because it is impossible to get noticed.
Yeah, and especially when I read this question, I thought if I was an indie developer, you always see these sales charts where for the first X weeks or months it does really well, and then it slowly slides off as you sort of reach critical mass. I feel like once you are about halfway through that slide off, I feel like that's
Game Pass.
Yeah, that's a really great time to put it in Game Pass for people that wanted to play it and were never going to be able to afford it, or they're looking for something new to play, and it's eventually going to age out of Game Pass. So, imagine if you had picked up The Binding of Isaac on Game Pass, and 3 months later they're like, all right, it's leaving Game Pass. In a heartbeat, you would have been like, all right, put it in the cart. Let's go.
Yep.
I feel like with so many
especially
indie
considering
games,
they actually offer a discount as well if it's in Game Pass and you buy it while it's still in Game Pass.
Yeah,
you get a discount on it.
20% off, something like
Something like that, yeah. So if it gets to the last 2 days and you're just like, well, this is leaving in 2 days, I'll pick it up, and you get it for a discount. It
seems like a really good deal. I feel like there needs to be that one big indie game, the Super Meat Boy of Game Pass, that shows a lot of other indie devs that this can work and this can be profitable. So it's worth going through the extra steps.
I also think that in a service like that, you need Microsoft to step up and say, okay, this is the summer of Game Pass, so we are
yeah.
gonna take, or even like a winter Game Pass like event where it's like just like the summer of Arcade, except it's
The winter of indies.
except it's highlighted on Game Pass.
Yep.
I mean, like, look, 3 months, 5 games, different different releases into the different things for the games. 2 on 1 month, 1 month, 2 on a third month.
Right.
Get Game Pass. Here it is. 3 month service, $20, $25 as a little discount.
Yeah.
See what you can get out of them over this period, just to bring these 5 games to the focal point and be like, here is what we did with Summer of Arcade, except now we're doing it with Game Pass.
Yeah.
And not only along with these 5 indie games, you can also get, Fallout 4 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because they do an okay job right now promoting games that are entering and leaving Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they could push it a little bit harder, like push it harder on the dashboard. Push it a little bit harder on social media, other than like one post when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what indie devs do on there. And last but not least, Blake Torville on Discord says, what do you guys do if you find yourself not enjoying video games as much as you used to? Do you take a break, power through, or something else altogether?
A little bit of it all, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I mostly try and take a break and like read a book or catch up on movies or catch up on a TV show I'm watching on Netflix. There are times where we're gonna have to power through, at the very least, like for Game Club or for a big release this year. But I feel like taking a break is usually pretty okay.
Yeah, it's usually the safest option is like just step away for a little bit. Like, I'm playing a lot of games. Like, I played a lot of variety this week. I didn't put a whole bunch of time into each of them. Yeah. Because it was a very bouncy kind of week. I couldn't decide what I wanted to play. There are certain things going on in personal lives that are affecting my desire to play games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to play 10, 15 minutes.
Jimbo Django says, check in with the family? I mean, yeah, see if they're still there.
Yeah, occasionally.
See if they want to play Destiny 2.
I haven't when I get a VR headset. That's when I'm gone forever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. The most disappointing thing for me is Microsoft not deciding to go ahead with any VR support at all for the X.
Or AR. That's where I'm really disappointed.
Yeah.
I thought they would do AR and like lead the charge on, VR is old, AR is the future, but
I'm sure they will, but I'm sure they will push it at a later date. Right now, I feel like they're fortifying what they're strong at.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be in the next
cycle.
The next platform, yeah. Dimepag says, have you done a game club of Enter the Gungeon? Roguelikes are sort of verboten for game club right now, mostly due to time. I feel like what we're trying to focus on in the short term are smaller games in the last 10 years that have a very definitive beginning and end. Like, we played A Flame in the Flood, and I think that was a little frustrating from a show production standpoint, because like Moon and I both got to the ending, but I felt like I didn't necessarily see everything, and I could have played a bunch more to see more, and a lot of that stuff just doesn't work really well.
Yeah.
That's why we've been playing like recent smaller indie games. Like Celeste has a beginning and an ending, it's fairly short, so yeah, I don't know. That's all we have for questions, and it is so hot in both of our respective offices. So we're gonna wrap this thing up. Thank you for listening. TVGP.tv, all the stuff to find and follow us is on the right hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Get early access stuff. Get behind the scenes. The Outcast has been really good lately. I know I'm part of most of it, but it still makes me laugh. That's exclusive to the Patreon. You get some early access to 3 other shows. Game Club, as we were just talking about Celeste, we have about 2 weeks left on that. And all the other places you can find us on Livestream. Follow us there. It'll let you know when we go live. We'll see you all next week. Bye. I have 4 titles, and I think I saw you write down another one recently, so hit me with them titles.
I've got a few, to be honest.
Okay.
Nah, I'm good. Oh no, more of the thing I loved. My chocolate cake has chocolate cake in it. Because they can, you have all the money, selling knives through Steam, and the meta has changed.
I'm writing down, my chocolate cake has chocolate cake in it. Selling knives on Steam. I have Tapas Week. Guess what they build stuff. A Thumb and a Thumb, which is a title I really like. And one that I don't know if we can get on the show is Rub with the Rats.
I don't know. I think we can get away with that.
Yeah, I really like A Thumb and a Thumb, though.
Yeah.
That's probably my leading pick.
A Thumb and a Thumb.
It's just so good. I don't know why. Like, I'm not sure if anyone would demand, like, why is that funny? I'm not sure if I could say why.
No, you couldn't, because it's literally stupid. It's like, spoiler alert, folks, for pre-show conversations. It's literally because I'm currently having really bad issues with my fingers.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling with playing games right now.
Yeah.
So literally, it's the perfect game because I can just do that.
A Thumb and a Thumb.
Yeah, let's go with Thumb and a Thumb.
Okay.
Jimbo wants to know what our dog's first name is as well. Is it your dog's first name as a title?
Sounds an awful lot like you're trying to get into my banking info.
Yeah, my mother's maiden name is Mind Your Own Business. By the way,
I watched Now You See Me. I know what's going on. All right, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 563 for August 6th, 2018. A Thumb and a Thumb.
with a stick and a stick.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out and watching with us. We recorded forever, and it's so hot, so we're going to go. Bye!